In the open desert, there are no roads, no trees, and no signs to follow. Every direction looks identical, stretching endlessly into heat, sand, and empty space. Temperatures rise high enough to kill most insects within minutes of exposure. Shade is rare in this environment, and even a brief hesitation can quickly become fatal. Yet a desert ant leaves its nest and walks far into this hostile world alone. It does not move randomly, and it does not rush, even under constant heat and exposure. After a long and winding search for food, the ant finally stops and pauses in the open heat. It turns once, then begins walking in a perfectly straight line back across the sand. No landmarks guide the way back across the desert. No trail leads home through the shifting sand. And in this environment, there is no second chance to be wrong even once. The desert ant lives in an environment where navigation should be impossible. The landscape offers no stable reference points that remain the same from one moment to the next. Unlike forest ants, it cannot rely on chemical trails to mark a path through the terrain. In this heat, pheromones evaporate too quickly to remain stable or useful. Visual landmarks offer little help in the open desert environment. Sand dunes shift constantly, reshaping the landscape with every change in wind and light. Despite these limitations, the desert ant routinely travels far from its nest in search of food. Each journey pushes it deeper into a landscape with no clear points of return. The search path is irregular and winding across the desert floor. The ant turns frequently, changes direction, and pauses without ever following a straight route outward. To an observer, the movement looks inefficient and chaotic at first glance. There is no obvious pattern guiding the search across the open desert, but the apparent disorder is misleading when viewed more closely. Beneath each turn and pause, information is being quietly accumulated over time. Every step contributes to an internal record of distance and direction over the course of the journey. Nothing about the movement is wasted or ignored. The outward journey may appear complex and uncertain to an outside observer, but it is already laying the foundation for a precise and direct return across the desert. The desert ant does not remember where it has been during the search for food. It does not build a mental map of the desert around it as it moves. Instead, it relies on a navigation method known as path integration. This system tracks movement continuously without storing locations or landmarks. As the ant walks, it keeps track of how far it has traveled over the entire search. Distance is measured step by step across every change in terrain and direction. At the same time, it tracks direction throughout the entire journey. Every turn, pause, and correction is recorded internally as it moves. These measurements are combined continuously as the ant moves through the desert. Together, they form a single internal vector pointing back to the nest. When the search ends, the ant does not retrace its outward path through the desert. It does not follow the same turns back that it used while searching. Instead, it commits fully to the calculated direction home without hesitation. The return path is direct, efficient, and free from unnecessary turns. This system does not depend on memory of places or past locations. It depends on continuous measurement taken during movement itself. As long as movement remains consistent, the calculation continues to hold accurately. The ant does not need to recognize or interpret its surroundings at all. In this way, the desert ant turns motion into arithmetic through its movement. Space becomes something that can be measured rather than remembered over time. The desert itself becomes a coordinate system for navigation. Direction continues to exist even when visual cues are absent or unreliable. Navigation emerges without the use of any map or stored landmarks. The journey home is solved long before the ant begins walking back. Distance alone is not enough to guide the ant home across the desert. Direction must also remain stable and reliable throughout the entire journey. In the open desert, the sky becomes the most reliable source of direction. The sun provides a consistent reference in an otherwise featureless world. The ant uses the position of the sun to maintain its heading as it moves across the desert. This allows it to keep a stable sense of direction while walking, even over long distances. But the sun does not stay still in the sky as the day progresses. Its position shifts continuously over time, slowly changing the directional reference the ant relies on. To compensate, the desert ant relies on an internal biological clock. This clock allows it to adjust its heading as the sun moves. Even when the sun is hidden behind clouds or glare, navigation does not stop. The ant can still extract reliable directional information from the sky above. The ant detects patterns of polarized light invisible to human eyes. These patterns remain stable even when landmarks and shadows disappear. Specialized receptors in the ant's eyes allow it to read these sky patterns automatically. No learning, interpretation, or conscious processing is required for this system to function. Together, the sun and the sky form a natural compass for navigation. Direction remains reliable even when the ground offers nothing consistent or stable to follow. In the desert, the sky effectively replaces the need for a map or landmarks. Navigation continues as long as the rules of light and time remain stable and predictable. This navigation system is powerful, but it is not flexible. Its accuracy depends on conditions remaining stable from start to finish. Every step adds information to the calculation as the ant moves across the desert. At the same time, every step also carries the risk of accumulating error over distance. Small inaccuracies may seem insignificant at first, but over long distances, even minor errors can grow into large deviations. There is no correction system once the calculation is complete and committed. The ant cannot update or revise the solution while walking home. If the environment changes unexpectedly, the calculated vector can fail. The system assumes the world remains consistent and predictable throughout the journey. Experiments show that altering the ant's stride length causes it to miss the nest. The calculation remains precise, but the reference has changed. The ant does not adapt its strategy in real time during the return journey. It cannot revise the calculation once it begins walking home. Precision comes at a cost within this navigation system over long distances. Flexibility is deliberately sacrificed in exchange for speed and efficiency during movement. As long as conditions hold, success remains remarkably high. When they break, failure appears suddenly and without warning. Consistency is both the system's strength and its weakness. The same rules that make navigation possible also define its limits. The desert ant does not know where it is going in any conscious sense. It has no awareness of distance, direction, or destination. There is no understanding of angles, vectors, or calculations. The ant does not recognize that it is solving a navigation problem at all. The intelligence of this system does not exist inside the individual ant itself. It exists in the structure of the behavior, shaped and repeated over time. Over millions of years, individuals that navigated accurately survived more often. Those that failed to return did not contribute to the next generation. What remains today is a refined biological system shaped by repeated success and failure. The learning occurred across generations, not within a single lifetime. The ant does not make decisions in the way humans do when facing a choice. It simply executes a program written by evolution and refined over time. In a world with no landmarks, direction still exists for those built to measure it. The desert ant does not remember the world, it computes it as it moves. Navigation here is not based on memory or learning. It emerges from consistency, repetition, and biological structure refined over time. The desert ant finds home without ever knowing where home truly is. Survival does not require awareness or understanding, only alignment with a stable and predictable world. Sometimes, survival does not belong to those who remember the world around them. It belongs to those shaped over time to move correctly within it.